welcome you to our very first event. I know that several of you have asked me, well, were there other events? No, this is the official first event. Our passion. It is to empower businesswomen to connect lives for Christ. Our vision is to provide a network of opportunities where Christian businesswomen can expand their impact in their communities, in our community and marketplace. Our mission is to connect, disciple, and equip Christian businesswomen to lead more significant, productive, and fulfilled lives, both personally and professionally. And our core value is connecting. Connecting women to Christ, to one another, and to their unique potential, both professionally and personally. It's now my great privilege to introduce to you the other members of the Advisory Council. Naomi Cox, Marvell French, Martha Kistler, Terrie Perguson, Kathy Salinas, and Mary Swarts.
You know, we are blessed in Fresno. This is a unique community. For years we've had mayors and police chiefs and sheriffs and city officials and great businessmen and women who are Christian, and that when organizations like ours or your organization, any organization wants to have someone speak, we are able to go to city leaders and they always say yes. And you know, Ashley and Paul Swearengin are a very unique couple. I really did not know Ashley until she ran for mayor. I knew her husband Paul as an ESPN broadcaster. He has left that. He's now a full-time pastor. And the name of the church is The River. And Paul and Ashley have a real burden for this city. Ashley's not a politician. She's a lady who wants to serve all of you, and she's a lady that's really done a great job, and I'm really proud of what you're doing, Ashley. I'm proud of you and Paul for the burden you have for Fresno. So ladies, put your hands together and welcome the mayor of our city, Mayor Ashley Swearengin.
Before I jump into the things I wanted to share with you this morning, I wanted to draw your attention to this incredible publication, which will officially be released on May 24th at the No Name Fellowship meeting. How many of you have heard about this? It's called The Work of Our Hands. Okay, I understand. Now, are we giving copies today? Is that correct? Okay, so you're going to leave here today with a copy of this book. And it was written by Dr. Randy White, or edited by Dr. Randy White, who I'm sure many of you know from our community, Dr. Randy and Tina White. And Sharon Stanley, Reverend Stanley, was instrumental in putting this together. And this is in response to a challenge that I made to the No Name Fellowship group in January of 2011. They will routinely ask me to come in at the beginning of every year and say, okay, what should our priorities be for the year? And this last year, or a year and a half ago, when I went to them, I said, you know, we've got to make sure that people have access to the resources they need to get basic education, job skills, you know, read Proverbs sometime, and then think about people who aren't gainfully employed right now. I mean, it's so clear in Scripture that work is our opportunity to demonstrate perseverance and character, and ultimately that leads to hope. And hope is actually the subject that I want to talk to you about today. But when you live in a community that is known for and has experienced double-digit unemployment for every year over the last 30 years but one, and when you live in a community that has the highest concentration of poverty of any other large city in the United States, you don't have to really wonder why our community doesn't have a lot of hope. Hope for change, hope for transformation. And we've got to help connect people even to basic training, mentoring, those sorts of things. And there are terrific institutions that exist to do that in Fresno. But this book challenges the faith-based community to evaluate what it can do as well. Whether it be, you know, I've heard of many churches will have like a clothing pantry and help people with professional dress when they're going out on job interviews, resume preparation, just some kind of clearinghouse to get people connected to resources that already exist for education and training. So this book catalogs examples of faith-based efforts across the country, and also some in our own community that do just that. So it's very inspirational, and I'm grateful to No Name and Dr. White for taking that on and compiling all that information. So let's talk about hope. My my encouragement to you is that you all become, if you're not already, and I'm sure that you are, that you become hope practitioners. And imagine that hope is not just, sort of a wistful idea that every now and then I get happy and that must be hope. That hope is perhaps, let's think about it just for this morning's sake. Maybe hope is in fact a tangible commodity, like a thing that you could steward, that you could develop, that you could cultivate, that there are physical and emotional and mental things that can be done to help cultivate a culture of hope in your own life, in your family, within your household, within your business, and within your neighborhood, and within your community. Because I believe that it is. We know from Scripture, it doesn't take long to do a quick concordance search and see that hope is really the message of the Bible. And Isaiah 40 talks about hope renews your strength. How many of you need your strength renewed every now and again? Huh? I do, like between now and 8 o'clock, like 5 times. So 8 a.m. that is, not 8 p.m. Hope renews your strength. I don't know how many times you've clung to that verse, but I certainly have. I just felt like the Lord said, I've not forgotten Fresno. And in that moment, when I thought, whoa, what if God hasn't forgotten this city? It occurred to me, I thought that He had. I was living my life as if He had forgotten. That I alone was having to bring, oh God, don't you know? Oh God, why don't you see these things? How silly was that for me to think that God was not aware of the challenges that people were facing in this community? And that spun me like a top. It changed my paradigm forevermore. And I started realizing, okay, I get it. He's got a plan for this place. He's not forgotten it. To whatever extent I may be involved in seeing good things happen, great, but it's not up to me. And it was actually a very joyful kind of thing to realize, oh my gosh, this actually may work, right? Hope deferred makes the heart sick. I realized my hope is becoming deferred, and the Lord changed that in an instant. When you read Jeremiah 29:11, it says, just black and white, His plans for us are good. So when you think about practically living out a life of hope, first step, make sure you've got it in your head that God has good plans for you, for your family, for your business, for your neighborhood, your school, your community. You have to start with that. If that doesn't anchor everything else that you do, then you're not going to experience what God has for you. And so first and foremost, get it in your head, His plans for you are good, and think about what your eyes are on. Think about what are you looking at, right? And make sure that it's balanced in the whole story.